Order, April 15th, 2021. Eric, please call the roll.
Commissioner Pye.
Aye.
Commissioner Rivers. Commissioner Hartman.
Aye.
Commissioner Brown. Here. President McGarrett.
At this time, if we all please stand. Say the pledge of the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners dated 18 March 2021 and the Personnel and Finance Committee Design Park District dated 18 March 2021.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting, Design Park District dated 18 March 2021. I also make a motion to approve the finance subcommittee meeting, Design Park District dated 18 March 2021.
I second it.
Motion carried.
Moved and seconded.
I couldn't hear.
Moved and seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. There we go. All right. We have some guests tonight. I'd like to welcome you all to the Design Park District. Can you guys tell us who you are? If you'd like, anybody would like to?
I'm Carrie Hogan. Sherry Crystal.
Sherry Neal.
Justin Romero.
I couldn't hear you.
Justin Romero.
Do you have something to bring to us today? No?
Go for it, Jocelyn. You just stand up and talk. Inspiration pack.
Yeah.
Just tell them that.
I'd like to thank you first of all for hearing us out tonight. We've been working, me and Sherry, have been working on the idea of a inspiration path in Zion. We do the idea of having painted rocks just along the path and then leading the path to bring inspiration and to help people find hope, I suppose.
Where's this at?
This is, I don't know the location.
She does know the location.
I know where it's at, but I don't know the street.
There you go. Yeah, on Shiloh Boulevard, just east of Edina Boulevard.
Oh, yes.
Where we've got the two boulders from the towers that that were from the beginning days of Zion. Actually, Mike McDowell, who is the vice president of the Historical Society, met us over there and looked at them and gave his thumbs up for the project and is willing to help with signage if we were willing to do that. But the idea is, so the partnership, and that's why these guys are here. They are the founders. They are ZB graduates from 1968.
Oh, yeah.
Oops, I mean 88, from 1988. And they started the Lake Michigan Rocks exclamation point movement with all of the painted rocks that people put all over the place, and they end up, where's the furthest one that somebody found?
Nepal.
Right, in Nepal was the furthest one.
Somebody carried one to Nepal?
Yes.
Awesome, that's cool.
And that's-
All over the world and the United States.
And so we reached out to these guys to see if they would want to partner on doing an inspiration path. And so the idea is to call it Lake Michigan Rocks exclamation point inspiration path.
That's the name of our group, Lake Michigan Rocks.
Most excellent.
And the idea around it, originally we had thought about putting the rocks along the path, but then these guys came out and scoped it out, and what we thought instead was having a rock garden, and people could just, and having them back around the boulders, and then people could just, the idea is that they can pick one up and just take it with them and walk it to, the mile route down to the end and back, and just have some quiet time to be inspired and encouraged.
Very nice.
And you're going to paint the
Boulders.
foundation pieces, the foundations
The foundation
of the
rocks.
tower.
Yes,
The cornerstone foundation rocks.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
Right. And then you're gonna put signage up that explains
But
what the
it's
rocks are and what the inspiration path is about.
And the towers, the tower foundation.
We're
The
gonna-
towers, yeah.
So the rock path, explaining the rocks and, the inspiration behind it, and then the history of the towers, the cornerstones.
Okay. So I guess one of the questions I think when we talked about this previously was, is there any maintenance that the park district is gonna be responsible for your path, your rocks, or the cornerstones that you're going to paint? Or is your group going to be responsible if someone graffitis it? Who's going to be responsible for maintaining that?
Good question.
Right, so so what we would hope is that the park district would be responsible for what the park district is already responsible for, right? Just keeping that smooth. But then if there was graffiti and in the meantime, our one graffiti artist is in jail. They don't think he's going to be getting out for quite a while. But when he does get out, it was actually these guys' idea, and I reached out to his father to see if we could befriend him and get him involved in helping us. So that we could hopefully to curb that from happening. But I would have to think if there was any graffiti on it, that we would have the artist come back and paint over it, and we would address who that was. There would be enough volunteers to want to come back and clean it up.
Oh, yeah.
And as far as where the rocks are gonna be, because we're thinking they're gonna be like in little areas about this big, not bigger, along the path, like maybe 10 to 12 rocks in each one of them. Now, if those get muddy or something, I guess it'll be up to us to go and make sure they look pretty.
Okay, so yeah, I guess the issues on that trailer, we are going to, we just got a grant to redo that whole bike trail there. So it's gonna be under construction probably this summer.
Mhm.
So I would wait until we're done before you do anything on your path. And, in the wintertime, we do, plow that path, so.
I think it would be best to take them up in the winter.
Yeah.
Okay, so who's gonna do that?
I'll do it, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good. Yeah, I just wanna make sure that we're all on the same page with.
Perfect.
That's
That's a great idea.
And I think the Historical Society doesn't have any issue painting these foundation stones.
Actually, their first comment was, well, the park district already painted one, why wouldn't they think it would be okay to paint the other ones? I was like, well,
I think that too. but-
right, yeah, so they were fine with that. The question
I did
is,
ask their permission also.
yeah, do you guys have a timeline for when you're gonna get the path done?
Not yet.
Yes.
Got the grant, we just signed. the
It's been like 2 weeks, just kidding.
They probably won't start construction until this fall.
Oh, till this fall?
The last couple months is when earthwork will happen. Start.
So I'm curious if we could, if we didn't, if anything that we did, we could remove when the construction started? Would it be possible to, because the boulders aren't gonna be moving.
I don't think so, I don't know, I guess we need to make sure.
There shouldn't be earthwork, they said, until September-ish.
You guys
Well, we
can-
haven't had a meeting with them yet, so
Okay.
we need to do that first. So
Perfect.
we can do that, and then we can give you an idea of what that timeline looks like, and then you can.
Perfect, because if it wasn't gonna be September, that would give us 3 solid months to be able to, June, July, and August, if we did it, the last weekend in May, had it ready to go. To be able to just have it for the summer, and then we'd be able to like kind of vet it out and see how it worked out, and, what we need to improve it, or, okay, that was a good idea, but it went flat, so we're not gonna worry about it, either way. And so.
Question for you. I thought you guys were talking, but you talking about the trail on the trail going east and west.
trail going north and south, yeah, I think it's the United.
A diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you said, I thought you were talking either way.
Oh, yeah.
Not what I saw of it. Now you're talking about the diamond field.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your presentation. And I'm sure that we'll be able to coordinate with you two, you and Marilyn will be able to coordinate
Sure.
anything
And
else.
are there any
Please
other
feel free.
questions? We're good?
I don't have any questions right now.
Excellent. Okay.
thanks very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, Marilyn, is there going to be any changes to the agenda? I'd like to entertain a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
I said to him,
All in favor?
uh,
Aye, motion carried. Commissioner comments. Does anybody have any comments?
I know I was out in Shepherd on Monday. The
Shade structures.
chain structure was nice. It coming along with good.
At Shepherd's on New
Very
Daniel.
good.
Three station shade structures. It's not quite ready because the furniture isn't there yet, but
It don't look like that in place. Yeah. Coming along with nice. Up to.
Anything else, Jessica?
Also,
Starvin? No? Okay. Do we have anything from the attorney? Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the unpaid and paid bills.
Make a motion, we approve the total unpaid bills of 82489.16 for total paid bills of 220,225.72 for a grand total of 302,714.88.
I second that.
take a voice.
Eric, please call the roll.
Commissioner Pye,
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown.
Aye. This time we have the director's report.
Okay, in addition to my written report, I just wanted to mention that we have done the paperwork for the United Bike Trail Grant, which was awarded to us last year, or last month, last year. So we have not, that thing, we just got we just signed that this week. So we'll be meeting with Hitchcock Design that helped us write that grant, and we will be bringing that information to you next week for them to do their construction management of that project. Our maintenance supervisor vacancy, David has moved on. And so we are doing interviews this week and next week, or we have 3 people that are considering for that position. All of them are in-house candidates, so we're going to have someone set next week. And then I just wanted to let everybody know we're doing this Earth Day project next week on Thursday, which is actually Earth Day. The city declared Zion as a monarch city USA at their board meeting last week. We have signs that we've ordered. We're going to put up a sign on the Quarry Bike Trail so that people who ride through on the trail know. And then we have signs to put in other locations around the city. We're going to we planted some elm trees along the trail over there on our property. We are already signed on with the county to be the agency that does trail cleanup on the Quarry Bike Trail and Long Gap our cleanups this day, and we're gonna plant another tree. And so we've been trying to recruit community members, school kids, anybody really to come out that day. And even though it's a weekday, we're hoping that we get some people out in the morning. Kay's been working with the school group from New Tech that maybe we'll do an after school, just to be part of the cleanup. So we're trying to be a little bit flexible, but do something out of it today. So if anyone can join us, that'd be great. And that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Marilyn. On to new business. We know what page the resolution is on.
Okay, next thing.
Fifty-five.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the.
I was just gonna ask you.
Yeah, so the resolution is to transfer funds from general to paving and lighting fund. We did make the decision to do that lighting upgrade with ComEd, and we went over the budget amount that we get into paving because we're limited on the cap on that fund. So general needs to put money into that to make that fund whole for the year, so then we don't have any issue from doing the audit on that being a negative number. And so, and that's what the transfer is for, so. Do you guys have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I entertain a motion to approve resolution 884, a resolution authorizing the transfer funds of the Zion Park District from the general fund to the paving and lighting fund in the amount of $8,642.05.
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, Eric, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Pike?
Aye.
Commissioner Hartman? Commissioner Brown?
Aye. All right, now so we have the second email that has the full budget.
Right,
So
so,
we're gonna have to go to
yeah. If you feel like you need to go through that, we've gone through all the budgets, and there's very little that has changed, so I was just gonna highlight what we changed on here. So when we got the, final EAD from the county, which, not that long ago, we did have to make a couple of adjustments, but we were really close, which is a really good thing. Because the county has this new software, I'm hoping that this is a trend now, that they are going to be able to dial that in much more closely on the estimate that they give us in the fall, that we operate off of from the levy. But it was very close. So we did make a couple of property tax revenue item adjustments in the funds, but they were very minimal. They didn't really have any major impacts on any of the individual line item budgets. So those are pretty much the same as, we didn't have to make any adjustments to any of the items within the budget other than that number being the exact number that we have. But I do want you to, if you haven't looked at the construction fund, we did make some changes there. And I'm going to just explain that to you so that you don't worry about what that looks like on the bottom line. So,
Could you direct us to the approximate page?
what page is that?
Last page. This is the last page
You
of
gotta
the
go to
budget.
the budget, though, it's not even worth
The budget text.
Gotcha.
it. You do have to go to the budget attachment for that, it's the last page.
34s.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah, 34.
You're
we do the transfer in from recreation from general fund, those are in those line item budgets as transfers into construction for capital projects. Then grant revenue. So, that number is a large number. The 132.8 is for electro grant, so we will be looking at that in the 21-22 budget. And then, the city contacted us about, getting involved in some federal funding that they are making application to Shiner's office for. And so, we don't know if we're gonna get that. We had to do a pretty quick turnaround on getting a project to take a proposal last week in a couple days. So we did the water retention project at Shiner's. So we put that in as revenue. So if we get that, we need to have it in the budget. If we don't get it, it's not gonna affect us, but in order to make the expenditures for it, we need to put the revenues in also. And so we have that, and then when you go to the expenditure side, we would still like to do the Shadow Park renovation. So we see, how this all falls out with federal funding, that may have an impact on that. Also, we need to make some progress on the maintenance building, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later on the agenda. Take down the Hebrew Park garage if we can get to that point in the next budget year. And so, what that shows on this is that we would have a negative balance of 9828. Okay? But we're carrying over from this year at least 700,000 of that. So that's where there's still going to be some question next year of what we're actually going to get done, depending on where we can get to with the maintenance building and where we can get to with this federal funding. It's gonna, but we have to put it all in the budget so we have the ability to expend and receive those funds. Okay? So don't let that negative number scare you, because carrying over a large chunk of that, because remember we did the 2-year bond this year, so we're not going to bond next year. So because we didn't do the maintenance building this year, which we have budgeted, we're carrying that over into next year. Okay? So just want to make sure everybody was clear on that. It's not as, the picture is not as dire as this looks. We're not planning on deficit spending. We're just going to keep carrying it. And there could be some deficit spending so we can do these projects, but we do have some resources to do that now, right? We've spent a lot of time getting ourselves in a position where we actually can do it. We have some resources. So that's the full budget for 21-22. I think it's a good budget. We went through all of it in our budget meetings, and unless you guys have any other specific questions, I think it's a good budget that we can move forward with.
That was the only difference. That's what we just talked about.
Basically, yep. Yeah, we didn't do any line item changes really in the budget, except the PAB number, making sure that matched where we had the specific and the construction budget.
It's pretty damn good for all the work that was put in, putting that budget together. Just have that little minute change.
Well, it was really nice because the EAB came in really close to what we thought.
Yeah.
So, that makes a huge difference when, you can rely on that number.
So who had the secret squirrel combination for that? Did anybody have a kind of a feeling for where it was going to go?
Well, we make a handful of phone calls in December and November to the county. They provide us with a preliminary report, and we kind of dissect it a little bit. And I have pretty good conversations with David Nagel over at the city as far as what David may know or expect is going on as far as reductions to it. So we tweak what they give us a little bit, we dial it down and be conservative.
I mean, for all the work that was put into that budget, just to have that correction, I mean, that's,
Good.
motion to approve the 21-22 budget, the final budget, the updated property tax as presented.
So, second,
Eric, please call the roll.
Commissioner Pike,
aye.
Commissioner Hartman, Commissioner Brown.
Motion is carried. Now with that, back to the
There's nothing written in the written report on the last two items. I just wanted to have a discussion, have some update with you guys.
So nothing going on with the Dill Brothers property.
So, you know, for maintenance building search, we looked at Circle Concrete, we did not come to a financial agreement with them. We looked at the Dill Brothers building, there is some issues with contaminated soil. And as long as it's not disturbed, it's not an issue. But we have to put in drainage if we're going to do work on our vehicles and park our vehicles indoors, which there is no drainage currently in there. So we would have to do some work that I don't think it would impact. There were some specific percentages that we but it's a concern. And then there were some roof issues. And then when we looked into, because of the business that they did there, the floors are, should I say, 10-inch concrete, 10-inch, well, 8 inches of concrete. So to bust those out to put in floor drains is going to be a very expensive proposition. So I really feel like we need to take on another building that isn't going to really meet the needs that we have. So brainstorm some other ideas to maybe look at how can we update Headroom Garage as a location to at least have some of our operation. Maybe that would be the location we would look at for our mechanic shop. Maybe do some renovation at Shiloh Park Garage. We wanted to do those washrooms, we're doing some work in Shiloh Park, so maybe look at what is it going to cost for us to maybe change some of that around to do some east side mowing operations in Shiloh Park, the boulevards, kind of, you know, the east location. And then look beyond that to if we need to put up another possibly pole barn type of building, look at locations that we have in town where we have property and what that would cost. So at this point in time, I think we probably will, the 500,000 that we have budgeted in construction for a maintenance building would probably be to get started on the facilities that we have. And the other thing that that does is it upgrades the facilities that we already have because they all need it. And so we thought it's going to decentralize our operation possibly a little bit, but that might work.
You told me go to what do you mean, like, truck? Because you don't know over here, and over
Well,
there.
the other thing that, you know, we have Jordan Park Garage on the west side, so if we come up with a solution for the programming that's going on in that building, we could move the west side operations there. So actually, maybe not, we might actually be able to cut down on that a little bit, because right now, we use trailers and move the mowers around where we need them. So I don't know what would be more than we do now. You know, and they mow the boulevards, they go from Hebron to the boulevards.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's all over town. So I don't think it would really add much more. It would just kind of decentralize where we wouldn't have one hub that everybody goes to at the start of the day. It might be a little more separate than that. So that's just going to be more of a organizational the way the maintenance is organized as a department. Maybe that would change a little bit. So I just wanted to give you that update of where we're at, because we've had discussions about that. And then the pool upgrades, we have an extra shade structure from Shepherd's patio that we decided we're going to put 3 of the 5 up. And we had 2 dead trees that were taken down at the pool over the sandy play area. So looking at possibly having Rosie install a shade structure at the pool. If we do that, our thought is to take the sand play area out and make it a turf area. Take out the bushes and the fencing that is between that and the pool, so that you have a place for people to get out of the sun, but it's still close to the water. It's just as useful as the shade structures. We're still working through that. I don't have anything to bring to you to where we have to go on a project yet, but just wanted to upgrade you on that, and hopefully we'll have something for that next month, because we'd like to get that done.
Okay. Anything else on the pool upgrades?
Nope.
We're doing the grades.
Oh, yeah.
Say it again.
We're redoing the grates all around the pool. It's part of the filtration system. But those grates are, they needed to be replaced. And so we have replaced the whole thing. And then the ones at the bottom of the pool, where the drains, are the part of the Virginia Graham Baker Act, where we had to put in those specific drains so that there was not a suction issue with the grounding. And so those have been upgraded. It's been 10 years since that first came out, which is amazing. It's been 10 years already. And so those are being replaced also. So we did some interior work where there was some roof leaks before we redid the roof. And that's completed now. The lighting's been upgraded and painted. And so get ready to open that facility.
That's excellent. Is there anything for executive session?
You want to speak about negative fund?
Splash,
Yeah,
splash pad?
okay, yeah. Are you doing?
I don't think so. I think that we're not going to do that this year because we're going to invest in getting that shade structure up. And then we'll think about what are the features that we could do next year when we have more resources for the pool. And to see kind of what kind of numbers are we getting in the pool this summer. Are people going to actually come back, or? So,
I think it's lifeguard.
yeah, one of the issues with the pool is that lifeguards are, that's a national issue.
Yeah.
That was on a beach manager's,
For lifeguards.
that was on a beach manager's call, and, you know, there's a lot of beaches along the North Shore that have lifeguards, and the city of Chicago was on that call. They hire a ton of lifeguards, and people are doing some really expensive recruiting, $1,500 bonuses if they stay for the whole season. Types of stuff. So we're going to really have a hard time competing with some of the things that people are doing that are hard time offering.
It'd be a challenge. We only have 3 applications so far. And we're big.
Wow.
We used to get all of our lifeguards from the lifeguard class that they did from high school. They haven't had pool for 2 years either. So they are putting their pool is moving forward now. So it's going to be done. And so next year, maybe we won't have that issue, but this year it could be.
It's been longer than 2 years.
That happened with neighbors here. Nope.
Okay, no further business. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting, Design Park District, dated April 15, 2021.
I second.
All in favor?